All right, so this one, it's basically the same as 17, and so don't panic, because at the end of this, you just plug it into Desmos and then try to graph it, right? So it's written in the form A tangent bx plus c. And so then we just say A is 4. That's going to stretch it vertically. We say that B is equal to 1/2. They're using theta instead of x, right? So let me, maybe, I don't know if this confuses you guys or not, but we're really saying B times, this is a variable. It could be a x, it could be theta, it could be alpha, whatever, but usually it's either x or theta. But it's 1/2. And then C is equal to pi over 3. The period for tangent is pi over b, and so this would be pi divided by 1/2, which is the same as 2 times pi, right? 2 over 1 times pi is just 2 pi. Okay, and so I'm going to find something on this graph, and I'm going to graph it, and then I just move over 2 pi to find the next thing. Okay, so now the other thing is the phase shift, which is C over B, right? So this is the phase shift, which is going to be pi over 3 divided by b, which is 1/2. When you divide a fraction by a fraction, you actually multiply by the reciprocal, and so you get 2 pi over 3. Yeah, that's a hard one to keep track of. Let me double check this to make sure I'm doing this right. 2 pi over 3. Yeah, that's not fun. All right, so let's think about this graphically and what this would look like. Normally, tangent goes from negative 1/2 pi, comes through the origin, and it has a vertical asymptote at 1/2 pi, and then pi after that, and then pi after that. And so you have this periodic behavior that looks like this, right? So it goes. Now we don't have a k value, so it doesn't shift up or anything. So that means normally tangent will cross the x-axis at 0, and at pi, and at 2 pi. But now we have a shift of 2 pi over 3. And then the question is, do we go to the right or left? And we've noticed a couple things. If it's negative, you would go which way? Well, the book, it's a kind of, what's the right word to work? The book writes it one way and the solution manual writes it another way, right? So in transformations, usually it's written as a negative of a negative. And then when you write it this way, the negative sign would go in the negative direction. But then there's this whole thing with the even, odd, and if the phase shift is positive. So I don't want you guys to get bogged down and think, okay, well, normally I'm here, so I would shift 2/3 pi this way from there, or do I shift 2/3 pi this way from there? At this point, don't have a panic attack. You just plug it in. The answer is you're gonna go here, like around here. And it's a weird thing, but it's not the end of the world. You just plug it into Desmos. I just want you to be able to identify these different things and then plug it into Desmos. So if we plug this into Desmos, this becomes 4, right? And this is pi over 2 or x over 2. And then this is just pi over 3. So we'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of this, right? And now my asymptote is probably going to be in the middle somewhere, so I'm not even going to bother with that. But you can see that it crosses here at 4 pi over 3. Right? And then it crosses here again at 10 pi over 3, which is weird because it's counting by pi over 2, right? So let's take a screenshot of that. We'll do the best that we can. The 4 stretches it out a little bit. In other words, it's just elongated. It's stretched vertically, right? So 4 pi over 3, it's funny because it really only gets, so 4 pi over 3 is like right here. It's like 1/3 of a pi over past the pi. And then the next one is actually, because the period is 2 pi, and I want you to think about that. The period is 2 pi. But if you look at the difference of this, if 10 pi over 3 minus 4 pi over 3, well, that would be 6 pi over 3. What's 6 pi over 3 reduced down to? 2 pi. So, and that's over here. It's just past this, like, it would probably be like over here somewhere or something like that on this graph. And then this looks like it approaches down here around pi over 2 somewhere, right? So if I were to sketch this, and then our asymptote is somewhere in the middle here, somewhere between 2 pi and 5 pi, so somewhere in here, in the middle of these. I don't know exactly where it would be. I could do the math on that, right? Just go pi over. And so I'm going to just sketch the graph like this. And then this one's going to come in kind of like this. And then there'll probably be one little sliver over here, like around here. And that's what it would look like if you were to graph it online. Okay? Any questions on that one?